I'm 31 years old and have over $170,000 saved. And that's not meant to be a brag. I know there are people doing better than me, but apparently I am doing way better than the average American. So in today's video, I'm gonna walk you through my journey from graduating college in 2015 with nothing to where I am today, just 9 years later, and hopefully it will help teach you all something about how you can begin to build wealth. It's May 2015 and I just graduated from Virginia Military Institute. I accept the job offer and move to Northern Virginia in a $1,400 a month studio apartment. At this point, I have zero in savings. I have a 2010 Toyota RAV4 that's paid off, and every single thing that I own can fit in the back of that RAV4. But what I do have is a degree from a reputable school in an extremely useful field. I got my Bachelor of Science in computer science. So right out of school, I got a pretty well-paying job. Now, the first thing I do when walking into the office of my new job is set up both a Roth 401k and a Roth IRA. A 401k is a retirement savings plan that is offered by employers, which allows employees to contribute a portion of their salary before taxes. These contributions then grow tax deferred and can be withdrawn once you hit the age of 59 and a half. An IRA or individual retirement account is essentially the same thing, except not provided by an employer. You have to set this up personally through a personal brokerage account. Your gains will not be taxed, and you also cannot withdraw without penalty until you are 59 and a half. Now, I stated when I opened my retirement accounts that I opened Roth accounts. Really, the big thing you need to understand about the difference between Roth versus traditional is this first bullet point. In a traditional IRA, when you put in a percentage of your paycheck, it takes that percentage from your pre-tax pay, whereas a Roth will take that percentage from your post-tax pay. So let's say two individuals, both making $130,000 a year, both contribute 10% of their salary to their individual retirement account. In both the traditional and the Roth IRA, their contribution will of course be $13,000. The difference is in the traditional that lowers their taxable income by that $13,000, whereas in the Roth, it does not. That means that the traditional IRA user will be paying less in taxes right now than the Roth IRA user would be. But the kicker and why I decided to open Roth retirement accounts is this last bullet, taxes on withdrawals. In the traditional, you are taxed on the income you made in your retirement account when you begin withdrawing at 59 and a half, whereas in a Roth retirement account, you are not. So all the money that's in your Roth account at 59 and a half is actually your money. You don't have to then pay taxes on your withdrawals because you deposited already post-tax money. You continued paying taxes on that money during your contributions. The whole point of this is this last sentence down here. If you expect your tax rate to be higher in retirement, which you would hope so if you are opening your retirement accounts at a young age. Remember, I had just graduated college. This was my first job. I expect when I'm 59 and a half to be making more money, to be in a higher tax bracket. So it makes a lot of sense to pay the tax bracket that I was currently in versus having to pay where I expect to be at retirement on my withdrawals. Both the IRA and 401k come with annual contribution limits. You are only allowed to put up to so much money every year into these tax deferred accounts. They don't let you have a just infinite tax deferred cheat code here. So I have always maxed out my IRA contribution. I have not always maxed out my 401k contribution. But 401ks come with another huge added benefit we haven't even spoken about yet, which is employee match contributions. Almost every single employer will offer this through their 401k program, some with different percentages, and some you only get the money if you've worked there for a certain number of years, etc., etc. That is all very company specific stuff. But when you are contributing to your 401k, you want to make sure you are at least matching what your employer is willing to pay. So at my first job that I'm working in our story, my employer offered 3% matching, and I got it right away. There was no limit on how long I had to work there. So I put 3% of my paycheck into my 401k, which once again, my employer then matched. It's free money. Now let's fast forward a year in my journey. I won't bore you too much with the personal stuff. Got married. Wife wanted to go to UT for her master's, so I follow her out to Knoxville. And I end up finding a new, better paying job. And I'm now living in Knoxville, Tennessee, instead of Northern Virginia, just outside of DC. So I'm making more money, and my cost of living goes down. There are really just two major things to talk about in this job change and how it changed my wealth building trajectory. One, this new employer matches 4%. So I get 1% more free money. And since I now have a little bit of extra money, I'm making more and living cheaper, as we spoke about, I up my 401k contribution to 10% of my paycheck. Still not quite hitting the max 401k contribution, but higher matching, putting more money in, and continuing also to max out my IRA contributions. I haven't even touched on this yet. In a couple of clips, you've seen the S&P 500 index behind me, but in both my 401k and IRA, for the most part, I was completely invested in the S&P 500. So I graduated college right around here, is kind of mid to late 2015. So obviously, I've gotten pretty lucky with the run the market has been on during my kind of investing life as well. I did choose a few individual stocks within my IRA. I was a buyer of SQ when it was a sub $20 stock. I also sold it way too early, but made good money there. I was a buyer of AMD when this was a $5-6 stock. I also sold this one way too early, but made good money on it. I was also invested in a couple of things like Apple, AbbVie, Google for a little bit of time, but I've basically rotated everything now into just S&P ETFs, such as SPY, and mostly actually VOO. And I want this video to be more focused on my journey and how I personally built my wealth, not so much an investing conversation. We have a lot of conversations about investing on this channel, so subscribe if you're interested. Look at that plug. But the most important thing to recognize in part of my personal journey is I have never sold stocks and gone into cash, right? During bear markets, I mean, I've been invested since 2015. I went through the kind of Christmas 2018 North Korea scare. I went through COVID, obviously. I went through the 2022 bear market. In all of those periods, at least during COVID in 2022, I don't remember 2018, but I was buying more. I would actually put more money into even personal accounts during these bear markets to buy the dips. I was not selling, like panic selling my stocks at lows. No, that's periods to buy. The market is more likely to go up than it is to not. When it goes down, those are buy opportunities in my eyes. That's the way I've always treated it. So back to my journey. We're living in Knoxville now. I've got this new job. Everything's going great. This is around about the time I start doing this as well, right? Kind of start making content on investing, on trading, start this sort of side hustle. My first ever channel was actually not the one you're currently watching. It was called Squirrel Trading. Some of you may remember me from that, but these are the statistics for the few years that I ran that. Didn't make me rich, but it's not a negligible amount of money. It's a very nice side hustle. Just kind of continuing to work, continuing to try to make as much income as I can so that I can more heavily invest in the stock market. And if anyone is interested also in the income statistics of the current channel, Trading Stocks, here is those as well. I also spent a few years live streaming every single morning over on Twitch, and here's the revenue statistics from that. The point is, I was just doing all the side hustles I could, trying to make as much money as I could, working extra on top of just the 9 to 5. I think that's a pretty imperative thing, especially in today's age where you can do all this stuff from home on your computer. All this extra money is accessible by anybody. And also, obviously, throughout this time, I was trading stocks. Oh, he said the name of the channel. Look at that. But the first couple of years, I'll be honest, weren't so hot. I'd pretty much dropped over $2,500 down relatively quickly. Then from there, I would say I spent roughly another 2, maybe even 2.5 years as a largely break-even trader. Maybe like slightly better than break-even. Definitely not enough to consider myself consistently profitable, though. I wasn't building that nice, consistent upslope on the P&L. It was around mid to late 2021 that I switched my mindset from discretionary trading to systematic trading, much more objectively defined and tested trading systems rather than thinking I could predict what the markets were going to do. And that didn't immediately make me profitable, but I would argue early to mid 2022, I began to see that much more consistent, steady incline growth on my portfolio's P&L, my personal portfolio's P&L, right? So over the last 2.5 years, I have averaged something like 29% profit per year. And that's obviously including trading during much of this downturn in 2022. We've, of course, had a very strong market over the last year and a half. We'll see where we go from here, but it's been nice to see those consistent gains happening now that I've switched into systematic trading. Fast forward to a year ago from today. I published my own website, my own business, daytradingstrategies.net, where I begin publishing all of my systematic trading strategies that I just spoke about, as well as personal indicators and scanners. And I charge $25 a month for anybody to have continued access to the codes that I am consistently adding to and updating. This launched, like I said, just over a year ago, and we have hit 500 signups, which is amazing. Thank you to everybody that is signed up. Right now, we currently have just under 200 active. I think last I checked, it's 198 active subscribers. So that, of course, means I'm also bringing in just shy of $5,000 a month pre-tax in income from my business right now, as well, continuing to build my wealth. So now I'm a consistently profitable trader with growing side hustles, being YouTube, and my actual business. Also, and sorry, this is taken from a screenshot of another video. You guys see my ugly mug twice. I hit over $100,000 saved in my job's 401k account. With all this going on, I decided, this is just a few months ago now, to quit my job, to focus on the trading and the businesses full time. That's my journey. That's how I've built my wealth so far, and we're just getting started. What are the major takeaways? One, focus on your education so that you can get a well-paying, cushy job that offers you time to also pursue side hustles. Two, open and continuously invest into retirement accounts, especially the 401k matching. It's free money. Please take advantage of it if your job offers it. Three, work hard. Do the side hustles. Start the business. Focus on making as much money as you can, even outside of your regular 9 to 5. And obviously, if you want to learn the systematic way of trading that helped turn me into a profitable trader, which has also helped to build some of my wealth, give me the amount of freedom that I am at, consider signing up to the website, daytradingstrategies.net. There's a link in the description down below. You're helping support me and my family hugely, and hopefully it helps turn you into the kind of systematic trader that began to give me my consistent profitability. Daytradingstrategies.net. Click the link. Go sign up today.